Okay, hi everybody. I wanted to take about 3 or 4 minutes to walk you through a really good example of the essay that you're going to be writing this week, an observation essay. Before you listen to this, I really want to encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to read all of the material I provided for you for this essay. There's an element of this assignment that's actually really easy, and I want you to embrace that element. All you have to do is go somewhere or go look at someone or go look at something and gather details, make observations. And then, of course, the challenging part is rewriting those observations and making it so that those observations matter and they make sense. Okay, so that's the real challenge and focus of this essay. Using details, learning to kind of give yourself over to writing description and having a little fun with it at the same time. So I want to show you an example of an essay that went really, really well, and I want to focus on a couple of the things that I think were the keys to this essay going so well. Okay, so this is from last semester. This is from a student who decided to write about what she was observing in her math class. So I'm not going to take you through every single word. You will have an opportunity to read this at your own pace. But I do want to open up here with the first few lines of this essay. Our writer opens the essay with this. 24 unfamiliar sets of eyes stare at me in unison as I enter the classroom and walk up the steps to take my seat. What a great opener, right? We can all imagine that. We can actually put ourselves in her shoes, and we know exactly what that moment feels like. That's your job as a writer when you're writing description. You want to put your reader in your shoes. Okay? So the way to do that is to simply write what you've observed. Okay, in those details. All right, so let's skip through these first couple of sentences here, and I want to take you to this student's thesis statement. The thesis statement for this kind of essay is going to be key. One of the pitfalls you might imagine with an essay like this is, how can I have a thesis for an observation essay? I'm not arguing anything. This isn't an agree or disagree type of discussion, and that's true. And I want to remind you what a thesis statement is and what it does. So let's go back very briefly to the PowerPoint on the parts of the essay. Okay, so here we are back on the slide that talks about what a thesis is. Okay. So the thesis statement is the sentence that identifies the one idea or opinion you want your reader to know or to believe after reading your paper. The thesis is an idea that you formulate about, that's your key word right there, about your subject. Okay? So when we go back to the student essay, you can see here's her thesis. So she's in a classroom, we know that. And she writes, surely this is one of only a few places that a silent observer can witness such a wide variety of people, all present in one place for the same thing, a math class, and yet all seemingly having their own experience. So that's all she's trying to bring to the reader's attention, is that here is this one strange place, this room full of, I'm guessing around 30 people, a huge variety of people. They're all in the same place for the same reason, and yet everybody seems to be having a separate experience. So in the assignment, what I asked you to do was think about whether there's something intriguing or interesting or important about your subject that you would like your reader to know. Don't make this more than it is. We're not, curing cancer or solving the world's problems here. You're simply taking an experience you had and recreating it for your reader. And that's all she's done with this thesis statement. I want to look back at another slide real quickly so that you have a sense here of how to create a thesis statement with an observation essay. Okay, so a strong thesis asserts your own conclusion about your subject. So what's her subject? A math class. What's her conclusion? There's nowhere else where you can find this kind of variety of people all in one place for the same reason, yet all having a different experience. Okay? A strong thesis provides the reader with a map. We know exactly where this essay is going, and she succeeds. She, as the writer, stays focused and she stays on topic. Her thesis is specific and it is focused. This math class has a variety of people. They're all there for the same reason, and yet they're all having somewhat different experiences. Okay, provocative is a strong word, but especially for an observation essay. But really, I just think the writer's style alone makes it intriguing. Okay, so anyway, let me show you a couple of other things that went well. I do invite you to go back to that PowerPoint and take a look at how to create a really good, strong thesis, and trust yourself. Trust yourself. You can write about any subject you want. Tell your reader what you want your reader to know, and you're going to do just fine. Okay, so her essay, she says in her thesis, is going to be about a wide variety of people, all present at the same place at the same time, and that having their own experience. And the body of the essay then just kind of proceeds chronologically. 5 to 10 minute wait before the professor arrives. She starts observing the people coming in. When I post this essay later, I want you to look at the details. She does a great job of just providing really specific details about what she's seeing. I love this sentence. A guy comes in, he is not necessarily tall, but I would not classify him as short. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, she describes the skull candy earbuds that are draped around the top of his ears. We can all picture this guy. We all know him. Okay. Then she goes to probably the next thing that attracts her attention, which is a guy that was sitting in the back of the room. Now he's walking quickly down the aisle to drop his homework off. Okay, he eventually trips. It's kind of a fun little section here. Her attention is drawn to a group of 3 students sitting behind her, and she describes their conversation. And then we get the next event, I guess, whatever you would call it. The professor comes in. And the description here of the professor is wonderful. And in fact, I'm guessing many of you who have had a math class here at Gavilan will recognize this professor. This is probably one of my favorite paragraphs. I know the room. I've taught in that room. I know who she's talking about. And the details just make this so engaging, okay? Anyway, so we go through the rest of this essay. She's providing details. I can really imagine this student just sitting here in her class taking notes. And what she comes up with is, again, what she puts in her thesis, and it's sort of brought back together at the end of her essay. Class is over. She's progressed chronologically through this whole experience, and at the very end, everybody's walking outside the class, and as soon as we are outside, she says, the entire group scatters. Such an odd combination of people came together just for the sake of this class. So again, I would invite you to take a look at this essay. Look again at any element of this PowerPoint where you think maybe you're struggling a little bit to put your paper together. Certainly email me questions. Ask me, for my feedback or any advice you would like. Above all, I really do want you to enjoy this essay. I think a lot of people enjoy it. And pick a subject you're interested in, and I can guarantee you, if you are interested in it, your reader will be. All right, let me know if you have any questions.